Climate change has impacted on our society by disrupting the natural economic and social systems that we depend on. It is for this reason that the Zambian government adaptation measures to climate change mitigation includes promotion of irrigation and efficient use of water resources. The Irrigation Development Support Project, or Idsp, is an infrastructure development scheme hosted by the Ministry of Agriculture that brings hope for irrigated agriculture in Zambia.
This project gives us great hope for irrigated agriculture. We have been talking about climate change, and that has driven us into harvesting the water, the rainfall water which goes through our rivers. And this is one of those areas where through the World Bank, this Momboshi Dam was completed in 2019. Right now, a number of farmers, over 5,000 individuals, have been able to benefit from these waters that have been put in various categories. We have Tier 1, the small-scale farmers, Tier 2, Tier 3. These are big ones like the ones we visited, the correctional services who are growing potatoes, onions, and very soon they'll be starting to grow wheat. So really, it's a very, very encouraging story for us in the Ministry of Agriculture, because it shows that we can harvest this water and put it to good use for the benefit of all categories of our farmers.
The Idsp is a massive water harvesting pilot project about the development of agriculture infrastructure designed to empower rural communities. It began in 2011 at 3 chosen sites in the country: Lusitu, Musakashi, and Momboshi, that underwent several steps before yielding development change.
It's a pilot project that is hosted within the Ministry of Agriculture. It's supported by the World Bank and the government in terms of funding. The project itself became effective in 2011, but it had to take a lot of steps for it to mature in terms of implementation. You may wish to know that apart from irrigation, it is involved in many other aspects of community development. The Idsp has built houses in the 3 sites where it's operating. It has built roads, it has put power, it has developed domestic water supply to the local communities. The project has done other developments before getting to the core business of irrigation. So it has had 2 phases. The first is what we may call the resettlement, action plans and implementation, where all this infrastructure has been built and the community is resettled. In total, we are talking about 230 houses built in Momboshi, 113 built in Musakashi, and 114 built in Lusitu. The Idsp then moved to start the irrigation infrastructure development. So in short, Idsp is about the development of irrigation infrastructure to empower the rural communities. So we move into areas with high potential for irrigation, meaning there should be water. If there is not enough water, there should be a good site for a dam, where we build a dam, and thereafter, then the infrastructure is led to the community. And you may wish to know that all this infrastructure is built on land which is titled. What the Idsp does is to assist the local communities to form what is called the community land trust, so that the land can be held in trust, in perpetuity, on behalf of the general membership. To zero in Momboshi, for example, there are big commercial farmers that we found there, called Tier 4 farmers. These become part of the scheme. Then the area that is parceled in the interest of the local community, part of it we lease it out to what we call the Tier 3 farmers. And the water fees that we collect from the big commercial farmers, the Tier 4 and the Tier 3, that becomes the cornerstone in terms of maintenance and sustainability of the scheme. So we are targeting the small-scale farmer, the medium, and the commercial. And we are relying on the commercial farmers for their muscle to make sure that the schemes are sustainable. So right now in Momboshi, the Tier 4 farmers are paying money, which we are collecting and being used for the maintenance of the schemes.
All the 3 sites Lusito, Musakashi and Mwomboshi have got their infrastructure on the ground and stand ready to operationalization. Production and agricultural activities are now about to take center stage.
The 3 sites are ready to produce. The Idsp has done its part. In Mwomboshi, we have built the dam, we have installed the 2 major pumping stations, we have done 5 small pumping stations, and the land has been cleared for the farmers. The scheme has basically been handed over to the farmers. Where we are now, the farmers are ready. We are bringing in stakeholders, the off-takers of the crop, because you see, you develop so huge hectares of land and farmers go in to produce. You're going to have marketing challenges. What is it that they're going to produce and where are they going to sell? So our task as a project is to make sure that our small-scale farmers are linked to the off-takers. So what we are talking about is farmers growing for the market, ready market. And the Idsp has done its job. 2 years ago, we brought in Buyabamba as a trial to see how potato can do there, and it was a fantastic achievement.
Farmers here at different levels now stand to the advantage of planned and unplanned benefits as a result of the availability of all year-round water.
The planned activities, benefits for these communities that they used to grow rain-fed crops, and in most cases when the rains unexpectedly go before the crops mature, they used to have losses in yields, very big losses, at times 100%. Now, with the onset of this water board, the Mwomboshi Dam, our farmers don't mind now, even if the rains go, they have access to this water, they'll start watering their crop, and they will harvest all the crop that they would have planted. That's one. So the incomes, and during the dry season, even when there is no rain, a lot of them have now been using this water from the dam to grow vegetables, to grow tomatoes, like we saw, so they have this income which was never there before because of this additional cropping, the additional cropping which they have added into their agriculture cycle.
Other sites that are already benefiting from the Irrigation Development Support Project are the ISF sites, or infrastructure and the public institutions that required infrastructure and equipment reinforcing.
So apart from our core sites that we have, Mwomboshi, Lusito and Musakashi, we identified ZNAs, we identified the Zambia Correctional Service and police as some of the institutions that can benefit from our grant facility. So we worked with them, Correctional Service and the Zambia National Service, and we have empowered the 3 institutions with 2,400 hectares of land. These have been equipped with center pivot. We're talking about Lumezi, we're talking about Mkushi, we're talking about Serenje. In Nansanga, we have done 720 hectares with Zambia Correctional Service. We have done 310 hectares in Luansh. We have done another 320 in Mkushi, and we have done about 4 center pivots in Kabwe. So in total, we're talking about 2,400 hectares, and it's under full production. The goodness is that these institutions were ready, then they had the capacity and the experience to do irrigation. So they were targeted as such, and it was an impact right from the beginning.
The Idsp began by engaging farmers, targeting communities that were sitting on titled land so that the farmers would own the project and the land in perpetuity. This is what would bring about a difference to this project.
The Idsp has got targeted communities, and we move on, ensure that the land is parceled to the communities. They own the land. And looking forward, we see the Idsp being successful because we have empowered the farmers, and we have made sure that the land and the infrastructure and the investment is there for the farmers.
Resistance in settling people at the start of the project and currently security of the installed equipment has been some of the major challenges that the project has faced.
When we started the project, we found the people in their normal setting, and then We had to resettle them because they had to vacate the suitable land for irrigation. So there was resistance. So it had to take a lot of training and a lot of sensitization, and that to make sure that people understand that we meant well for them. Resettlement was a problem. Accepting the project, it took time. But finally people accepted the project. What we have now is security to the equipment. We are fighting to ensure that the equipment, expensive equipment that we have installed there, is secure.
The local communities at Lusithu, Musakashi and Mwomboshi must take ownership of these irrigation support facilities that have come at a great cost through the Idsp under the Ministry of Agriculture. Investment of this magnitude ought to be guarded protectively, but even more, utilized to full capacity.
The only thing that we can appeal to them is utilize that investment. When you are doing irrigation and you have got 1 hectare, it's equivalent to do 8 hectares in the rain season. So you are far much better off with 3 hectares of land under irrigation. You are doing over 20 hectares equivalent in the rain season. If it's pilot, it means government may only come in to invest in other areas if the pilot succeeds.
There are acts of vandalism to this hugely, very expensive equipment that has been put there. So I would like to encourage the community, if they could form a neighborhood watch, neighborhood groups, so that they could protect this equipment which has been put at great cost by the government.
Guaranteed, the future of Zambian agriculture lies in effective water harvesting and later on, irrigation.
The future of agriculture in Zambia or for Zambia is in irrigation. First one, you have heard about the climate change. We have so much rainfall, but in very short period of time, and we have got long droughts. The harvest in the rain season or the rain-fed agriculture is not guaranteed, you're not sure. So if we have to be sure and we have to guarantee ourselves, the only way to go is in irrigation. We have abundant water for sure, but we need to harvest that water. The Idsp is providing that learning curve, and the government surely must come in and see where the investment can be. We want to thank the World Bank. The World Bank came forward and supported this project initially to a tune of $115 million US. They put an additional funding of $30 million. So in total, we have had funding of $145 million from the World Bank. If we put in monetary value, government put in $23 million to support the project. So we have had very good support from both the World Bank and the government.
For this project to be sustainable, the local community needs to take up ownership of this dam and the facilities that it is provided, the schools that have been built, the clinics that have been built, the police posts that have been built. Let them embrace these as their own in the community. So we see a lot of hope for this community.
What remains now is for the farmers of Lusithu, Musakashi, Mwomboshi and all the ISF sites or infrastructure and the public institutions to swing into full agricultural production now that the water will be available to their cropping all year round.